Hi everyone, and welcome to day 2, or the final part actually, of this page from the Johanna Basford planner. I think this is from Secret Garden, but it might be Enchanted Forest, so I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, let's come in a little bit closer and finish some of these leaf bunches, and then we can get on with the really exciting bit for me anyway, the berries. Let's do this one. Now I'm trying to mix it up a little bit with my colour combinations to get some different ideas going. I think we're going to start with a darker brown on this one, which we'll use the 76, and then we'll maybe mix it with some green so that it's a little bit different to some of the other colour combos that we've done. I'm going to do these thorns just in the same colour. Quite often I will do a thorn actually with a red tip. Sounds a bit gory, but no, because if you look at rose bushes, the thorns are often red, as are some of the stems or stalks. But for this particular one, I think it's better just the same colour as the rest of the stem, really. Just because of the colour combo that I've picked. But doing a sort of red tip on a leaf can be quite fun. We might do that actually. So I'm trying to just fade this down because it's such an intense colour. I'm going to fade it quite a long way. I find it easier and it looks a little bit tidier in the blend. If I stop there, you would see that edge. So if I can just put a reduce the layer a bit as I go, then it just makes it look a little bit neater. It takes a bit of practice. I have someone said the other day that they really struggle to fade the colour. It isn't easy. It took me a long time to learn how to do it. It's still not perfect. It's a very difficult thing to explain, that as you go up the leaf you're using slightly less pressure on the pencil as well as doing slightly less layers. And saying, oh, I'm just lifting the pencil slightly off the page, it's quite difficult to do. So don't be too hard on yourself. Don't expect it to all look perfect the first time. So now I'm going to use my green 52. Now I want to leave a bit of this brown. So what I'm going to do, start at the tip with an intense layer of green and then reduce that down as we go towards the brown, and then we'll end up leaving some of the brown. If I go in the other direction, I always find it hard to know where to start, but going this way I seem to know where to stop. I got no idea if what I'm saying is making sense. It's just the way my brain works. Anyway, I've been getting a bit distracted this weekend with the tennis. It's been the Australian Open. It would have finished by now, by the time this video goes out, but I like tennis. Now, the coverage of the Australian Open in the UK was only available on a expensive sort of TV channel that I don't get. I was reading the reviews and people were saying, you know, you had a long 5-set match and the live coverage just stopped in the middle and then you couldn't even replay it later. People were so cross. But I don't pay for things like that. If the match isn't available, it's not available. I just watch on our BBC News website. It had an up-to-date sort of text ticker with the scores and a little bit of information about what was going on, so I was just following that. It's actually far less stressful than watching a tennis match. If you're supporting a particular player, I find it can get quite stressful in a way. If you're sort of rooting for them, unless they're winning all the time, but nobody wins all the time. Right, these look like oak leaves to me, but I'm not necessarily going to colour them that way. What should we do for these? I want to go with some green again. Although we've got these two that are just browns, and I'm wondering if we should do one here to balance it out. Maybe we should. Yeah. I'm just grabbing my hanky while I have a think. Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we'll do a reverse brown, so start with a lighter colour on the stems and then go darker to the tip. But I don't like colouring that way, so I am going to start with my darker pencil, which is a 77, but I'm going to start at the tip this time. I just find dark to light suits me better most of the time. So, because I like to fade it like that. If I went dark from, I don't know, if I start with the light, I don't know, it just doesn't work in my head, usually. Sometimes it does. Oh, I'm making even less sense now. Let's talk about something else. Yes, I've been keeping up with the news on the tennis, and no, not all the Brits are out. Most of the Brits are out they're all out in the singles, but we've got some Brits in the doubles. Our wheelchair Brits do quite well. There's a particular lady that does well, and a couple of men. So I'm not sure if they're still in, because we don't get so much coverage about them. Even the doubles, you know, all the Brits are gone, and you have a look and you think, no, actually they're not. But because the doubles pairings with Brits aren't two Brits, it's a British chap and might be a Canadian or American or something like that, then it doesn't get quite so much coverage, because it's not a pure Brit team. But anyway, yeah, my sister thinks that the team sport, the sports where you represent your country, she thinks it encourages to dislike other nations, but I'm not sure. I do like other players from other countries too, Nadal particularly, but he's gone anyway. I also like Federer, but of course he wasn't playing, and I just like Serena Williams. Of course she's retired, but and her sister actually is quite interesting. See how well she's going to be doing, because she's still playing at the minute. Right, so that's our darker one. I think I'm going to jump to number 49 next. I'm going to go all over this just to help it blend. So yeah, I follow quite a few of them. It's fun. Oh, we've done it again. We've got brown underneath the acorns. Never mind. I'm going to fade that down, but it's not going to be my final colour. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about these stems. Anyway, have a think. But yeah, I've always liked tennis. I remember as a child taking a little radio with me to school to listen to it on the bus on the way home at lunchtime and stuff on the field. I was following it. That was when I used to follow Stefan Edberg, and liked watching him play. And going back a bit in the 80s, late 80s, I think. And then I went through a few years when I was working, so I couldn't watch it. Well, I could watch it a little bit, but not much. I used to listen to it on the radio at home as well. I didn't have a TV when I was first left home. Yeah, we just decided not to get one. We had a radio, but we used to cheat with our no TV and go and watch certain programmes at my mum's. But it was a way of saving a bit of money, because you have to buy a TV licence in the UK to have a TV, which is about £13 a month at the moment. And we didn't have a lot of money, so we didn't pay for it. So anyway, but when I met my husband, we didn't have a TV actually, but he loves TV. So as soon as I moved in with him, we had TV. That was okay. I quite like it. I like quizzes as well as sort of entertainment and fun things. I like being able to show off how clever I am, just to myself. I'm not really that clever though, that's half the problem. I'm trying to decide what colour to go for this sort of stem and the end part. I think I might have to go with this, which is the 16. And I think we've actually done this one in reverse. No, maybe it's a bit darker, isn't it? So yeah, 16. Looks a bit orangey, doesn't matter. Yeah, so I sometimes watch a few quizzes. At tea time they have quizzes on. after we eat really early. It suits me really well. We used to have to eat really early when the boys were small because they would take like an hour to eat their meal. They're really slow, and so I had to give them a little bit of time before their bath and before bed, so their food could go down. So we ended up. Did I forget to do the other colour on that one? Maybe not. So we had to eat early, and we just kept doing that. So they get in from college at 4:45, and we eat at 5. I think we need to start maybe eating a little bit later, but I find it suits me really well because I go to bed really early. I'm usually in bed at 9, so that's a lie. I'm usually in bed at 8. I go up at 8 to start tidying up. Go up at 8. I don't settle down till 10. But it's lovely. I have a reverse lie and just relax in bed, and so I don't want to eat too late. I know some people don't eat till 8 o'clock. I can't do that. It's just too late. I'm not hungry at that time of night, and I feel too full going to bed. I don't know how people do it. Like my father-in-law does that. I don't know how he doesn't get indigestion when he lies down. I mean, I know he goes to bed a lot later than me, but even so, I don't know how they do it. But anyway, there's that set. I rather like those. And we've got this one. We've got a green one right next to here. I've got a mixed. Maybe we'll do another mixed one. I'm thinking I'd quite like to put some orange in this one. I'm thinking green and orange. So let's start with this one, 57. But I think here in this country there's a bit of it's a weird thing. There's a bit of a sort of snobby thing about the time that you eat. Even sort of a class thing, that the sort of higher class the later you eat almost. Which seems odd because you'd have thought that working class people might eat later because they've got to come in from work and then cook, but it seems to be that middle class people eat later. It's very odd. But there we go. It's also about what time of day you have your big meal as well. My mum has always liked to have her big cooked meal at noon or just after, you know. Whereas I've always preferred to have mine in the evening, you know, and have a light meal at noon. But when you're at work, that's what you've got to do. I'm going to go with the slightly lighter green, the 56, as the transitional colour, and then we're going to grab a bit of orange for the tip. Might look a bit like this one, but anyway. I'm also going to put that there, quite a hard layer, and on this one. So it's a really interesting thing, but I just do what suits me. Now apparently if you're diabetic like my mum is, it's better to have your heavier meal, or larger meal I should say, in the middle of the day, because you're more likely to move around more and reduce your blood sugar a bit. So so it's a good reason for her doing that as well. Now I'm going to pick my shade of orange. I think this one might work. It's not very sharp. I think we'll be okay. Number 42. It's not too dark, and I don't want too much. Just a little hint. I think it's quite fun. It's a bit more subtle than that, which is interesting, as that isn't orange. Anyway, there we go. Just a hint. And these we're going to do in an orange as well, and it'll sort of tie it together, but not in this orange. I'm going to go for a much darker orange. I'm going to use the 24, which is really intense. Now we've got individual circles here, in an ideal world, I'd like to colour each one separately so that we can give them all shape. They're very, very small. My eyes aren't going to go with that. So instead, I'm going to colour them as if they're all one and make them darker around the edge and then a little lighter coming up towards the middle, so that hopefully they look a little bit rounded, because if you look at this one, you can see that's how it's supposed to be. So with this one, again, I'm going to do a light layer here and make them darker underneath. Whoops, went over the lines. Like that. I'm going to colour this bit in a bit. I did want it to be a little bit paler, and this bit a bit darker. Excuse me. I don't like that colour. I'm going to put another colour on top of that in a minute. But let's just do these two first. Around the edge. And then the same with this one. This one, it's got a few little bits around, a little bit complex, quite small. Just do your best. There we go. I'm going to put a little bit of brown over that. I'm going to use the 77, quite a dark brown. But I'm going to use it fairly lightly. I just don't want it to be that vibrant. There we go. Okay. Let's move on to these next. Now these look a little bit acorny, but we've got acorns as well in the centre, so I'm not sure. I'm thinking they need to stand out a little bit. I think we can make them stand out with the colours that we've got. I'm actually going to use the number 73 for the top part, for this bit first. And I'm actually going to press quite hard or layer up a lot to make them really stand out. And I don't really think, because they're small, I don't think I can really do much shading, and because I want intense colour, then it's probably best to just layer it up. So that's what I'm going to do. And work my way around them all. And I'm thinking these cups, the base parts, I'll do in a darker brown. These two have got stems which we haven't done, but we've coloured all those. We'll colour those stems in this colour, which is a 16. I'm pretty sure that's the colour we used there. But I like the idea of these base bits being a bit darker. I'm going to use 76. I'm going to try and make them darker at the bottom than the top if I can. But again, they're quite small. So it might just end up being a solid colour, and that's okay. This is small too. I'm glad I sharpened my pencils. I didn't say, but I said I was going to sharpen my pencils. I did. I used my dowel, this sort of hand sharpener. Someone very kindly sent it to me as a gift. It's been lovely. Really like it. Don't use it all the time. It doesn't work for really small pencils, for example. I don't use it when I'm actually filming on camera because it's noisy. But someone's recommended a sharpener to me to use on camera, which is quiet and apparently gives long points like this, like I've get with my dowel. But I'm not buying anything at the minute. It's the wrong time of year for anyone to be buying anything, isn't it? But actually, I am buying something. I'm a big liar. I'm buying a bookcase, so that's exciting. Got these two acorns. Now, I'm going to use my really dark brown for the base 77. Now, we've got quite an intricate pattern drawn on here, and I just can't cope with trying to do anything with it. So I'm going to make really intense dark there and just fade it a bit towards the middle. I don't even know if that shows up because there's so much detailing going on. Yeah, my husband has agreed to get rid of the cross trainer, so there's room for a bookcase. So I've ordered a collection of the cross trainer. 49 for these, and I bet that's the same colour as the leaf underneath there. So I've got to wait for that to be collected. It's not going to be collected till the 24th of Feb, and I'm going to order a bookcase. It's from IKEA. It's got little square cubbies in it, which means that I don't have to worry about using things like bookends, which are cumbersome. And what colour should we do these berries? Red. Whoops. I'm going to use the 29 red. I'm going to do them all over with a layer. I haven't sharpened this one. So yes, I won't have to use bookends, and I've ordered some baskets for the bottom row. So it's 4x4. So the bottom row of 4 will have baskets in, so that I can put pencils and things like that look a bit messier in. So I'm really excited about that, but as I say, I haven't ordered it yet. I think with IKEA you can order a delivery. You can say what date you want things delivered on, so I could order it and have it set the delivery date for the day the other one's being collected, but I haven't done that yet. I have had lots of other little jobs to do, so I haven't got round to it yet, but I will. I've got to sort out the new oven. You know, had our new kitchen, we had a new oven. The bulb's gone in the bottom oven, which is a little bit irritating. So I've just had to send out messages today to try and find out the model number, because it was ordered by the kitchen designer. So I've got a manual, but it's got 2 model numbers on the manual. I don't know whether it makes a difference. So I thought I'd better check. I don't want to end up buying the wrong one. I'm going to use this dark brown, the 77, to do the tiny little star shapes. So yeah, I had to do that. So I've been fiddling with that. I had to sort out my tax bill. That was exciting. And my husband's. And then I paid for the collection of the exercise machine, and I accidentally paid it twice because it's timed out and said it didn't work. So I paid it again, and then I get 2 receipts. It's like, ugh. So that was a little bit irritating. We have these. I'm going to do these in orange, although I think they might be supposed to be, I think they're conkers actually, like chestnuts. So no, I'm not going to do them orange. I'm going to do them this colour, 57. So yes, I need to sort that out as well, because it's £25 to have an item collected by the council. But my husband hates taking things to the rubbish tip. I've advertised it. I've asked charities if they're interested, and they're not. So there's not much else I can do but to just dump it. Nobody I know wants one. So, and I know when it goes to the tip, sometimes the people who work there grab the things and sell them themselves or use them themselves, so that's good. It's obviously something being reused is better. But yeah, the collection's £25, but the tip is 8 miles away. And but I think the council charge a lot of money just because they want to encourage you to do it yourself. I'm going to use the 73 to do a few brown bits. I'm thinking on these tips. I don't know if it's really going to show up. A few lines here and there. And yeah, so it's really exciting that I'm going to get, instead of having all my colouring books on one tiny bookshelf and all over the floor, I can actually have a nice shelf, and I think I can put my colour cubes on there and things like that. Some of the pencils are really big, too big to fit on my trolley, so I'll be able to put them maybe on the top. So it's really exciting. Right, I'll be going to grab number 1 for the yellow bits, and I'm just going to block them in because they're so small. There we go, really simple. And then my light grey, number 80 for the wings. I'm just going to put more towards the body and less towards the end of the wing. Wings can be quite tricky. I don't like that bee being so yellow. I'm going to grab a black, number 9. His eyes I don't think should be yellow. Try and go over them in black. That's better. I'm happier with that. Now we have a pair of owls. Hang on. Let's come out a bit more. There we go. Now I've decided that I'd like to do their eyes in orange so they really stand out. So I'm going to grab this orange, which is number 4. I'm going to do both of them with orange eyes. I'm going to just block it in. I know eyes aren't like that, but it's going to stand out better. Can you see properly? Yeah, I know I'm zoomed out, but I want to do them both the same and at the same time. There we go. Now the beaks. Oh, those berries. We haven't done those, have we? Let's do them purple. I know it's really weird because everything's quite warm, but berries can be purple. And I quite like the idea of injecting a bit of colour. It's quite dark anyway, you can't really see it. There we go. Owl's beaks. Now we could do them in yellow to stand out, but I'm going to do them in dark grey. 8. I think that's more of a realistic colour. Try and make them a little lighter in the middle and near the top. It's quite hard to see. Now the owl itself, I did some the other day for a video which you would have already seen, I think, the post room, and I'm going to use a similar technique for this one. So I'm going to grab a 49. No, I'm not. It's too orangey. I'm going to use the 73 first and just go really lightly over the whole owl. Like that. Oops, try not to go out of the lines like I did. There we go. And then get a dark brown. I'm thinking I'm going to go for the 77 and do details. So the bottom of the ear, the top of each of these little feathery bits that are marked out. The going from the centre there, under the eye a little bit, and those feathery bits there that we can see. Oops, just put my elbow in the pencil. I'm just going to move them. There we go. So the bottom, where the ear is near to the head, first of all. Then the top of all of these feathers. Then there we go, on the sort of eyebrow bit near the centre, like the other one. Put a bit more in the middle, a little bit down here, just a bit. It doesn't look quite the same as the other owls, but there we go. Now I think that's it, so I'm going to come out and we can see the whole thing. I hope it looks quite colourful. You can see my mess of pencil. Get out short, messy pencils. There we go. I think that's rather sweet. It's a very cute picture. And I had a lot of fun. So I hope that was okay. Just lots of different ways of doing leaves really. So it's quite interesting for you, I hope. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.